Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today, I'm not going to give a review. That'll be left till Friday. Today, I'm going to do something a little different, and I'm going to give you my predictions for the WWE Draft. Now, the draft starts on Friday for SmackDown, continues on into Monday, and it looks like all three brands are going to be involved. Now, I'm not going to predict absolutely everybody because we're going to be here all day if I do. So instead, I'm going to pick and choose the people that I think would fit very well, switching brands, getting a little bit of a refresh. So let's start us off. Who I see going from SmackDown and NXT to Monday Night Raw. Now, this obviously is subjective. This is my opinion. So I'm going to go with this. First group I see leaving SmackDown is Legado del Fantasma. That's Santos Escobar, not Joaquin Wilde, Humberto Carrillo, Angel Garza, and what's her name? Elektra Lopez. I think the LWO Legado del Fantasma feud has been a little played out, so I think they need a little bit of a refresh, and with both Imperium and seemingly Judgment Day starting to implode, I think a new group would fit right in. Plus, you could have them face the tag champs. Be nice little fodder for Awesome Truth for a while. Next up, Damage Control. Now, I'm only doing this because I think Bayley could use some new challengers. Plus, they can go back and forth with Asuka and Kairi as the tag champs. But overall, I think they need to get away from Bayley for a little bit. Be on Raw. Could easily see Asuka and Kairi dominate the tag division. And then maybe Dakota Kai go in for Becky Lynch's world title down the line. I could see that. Or maybe even Io. Maybe Io goes her own way on Raw. Next up, this might be a little bit of a controversial one, but I think he needs a change of scenery more than anyone. It's Jimmy Uso. Now, ever since he's been back with the Bloodline, he's kind of been more or less of a joke. And after that match with his brother Jay at WrestleMania, I think he gets drafted to Raw and they have a little reconciliation. Not right away, but I think the build is going to be for Survivor Series. We get New Blood, that's Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, who just debuted for WWE, and Jacob Fatu, along with someone else, taking on Jimmy, Jay, Roman, and then maybe Sami Zayn. Get the original Bloodline together as baby faces. Of course, that's just my plan. We'll see what happens. Next up, someone I feel like could really use a little bit of a refresh. Maybe not so much a rebrand. It's LA Knight. Now, I know he's been in the WWE title scene, but now with Cody on top, he doesn't really fit. So I think him and Priest having a bit of a feud, I think could go a long way. Next up, we got Pretty Deadly. I am pretty deadly sick of them losing to New Catch Republic. That being Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. So I'm going to send them to Raw, face off with some fresh new challengers, and hell, maybe they dethrone Awesome Truth. We'll see. This one I'm kind of on the fence about, but I'm gonna put her here anyway. It's Naomi. Now, Raw right now is a little light on superstars, and I know she signed with SmackDown, but it's the draft. Everyone's pretty much up for grabs. So I can see Naomi coming in, having a little feud with, maybe Damage Control. Maybe not Damage Control, but, maybe get someone new, have Bianca and Jade go for the tag titles, and have Naomi kind of be a solo act for a while. Next up, this is going to be a little star power for Raw in the women's division. It's Charlotte Flair. Now, I'm not sure how close she is to a comeback, but I do believe once she's ready to go, she'll be good to go. And she and Becky have had some really good matches. I wouldn't mind a little more. Next up, our first call-up from NXT, and it's Tony D'Angelo and Stax Lorenzen. That's the family. Now, the main reason I'm going to call this team up is because right now on SmackDown, and actually for a while for SmackDown, Nick Aldis and the Bloodline have been kind of clashing heads, kind of a power struggle. I think if you do that as a little comedy thing on Raw with the family and their general manager, I think that would be kind of fun. Like, I would love to see that happen. And our final call-up from Monday Night Raw, it's the now former NXT World Champion. He just lost it last night to Trick Williams. It's Ilya Dragunov, who's a man who could have a match with a broomstick and it'll be 5 stars. Like, this dude is a special kind of talent. I can't wait to see what he does on the main roster. So, that's who I have going to Raw from SmackDown and NXT. Let's move it the other way, going from Raw and NXT to SmackDown. And now I start off with Bronson Reed, the kaiju himself. And main reason is because while he's been doing really good on Raw, I think he could use a little bit of a refresh. Maybe he's the first guy to challenge Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. I could see something like that happening. We got Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods of the New Day. I feel like they're going to be mainly fodder for Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga when they start their team up. But I do feel like they're a better fit here with heel tag team champions. Next up, we got Ricochet. I think Ricochet has done an awesome job lately on Raw. He's been let off the leash a little bit more. I feel like he would fit a little bit better on SmackDown. And reunite his rivalry with Logan Paul. I think that would be awesome. Now here I have written Tommaso Ciampa. I could go either way on DIY, considering it looks like we're heading for a breakup for DIY, which I know they just separated the tag titles, but I feel like Ciampa isn't really fit for the smiling white meat babyface type. So for now, I'm going to have Ciampa going to SmackDown, while Gargano stays on Raw. Main reason is because I think we need DIY separated for a little bit. Then maybe down the line they can feud, which, yeah, I'm always down for a DIY feud. Next up, Nia Jax. I believe she would be great. First challenger, maybe first couple challengers down the line for Bayley's reign. I feel like she would fit really well. Maybe they induct her into the bloodline, because she's technically The Rock's cousin. So, I think that would work really well. I am going to now have Imperium together on SmackDown. Now, Ludwig Kaiser did just destroy Giovanni Vinci on Raw. This past Raw, little spoiler alert. So I think we're going to keep Gunther and Kaiser together. And then I think we're going to move them back to SmackDown. Maybe down the line, Gunther beats Cody Rhodes for the WWE title. We got our first call-up for SmackDown, and it's Baron Corbin. Now, obviously, I'm not the biggest Baron Corbin guy. I was there when he beat Kurt Angle in his last match at WrestleMania 35. Still haven't forgiven you for that. But apparently he's been doing really great work on NXT, especially with his tag team with Braun Breaker. And I think you can easily bring these two together, have a fresh team for A-Town Down Under to feud with for a while. Next call up, I have Carmelo Hayes. I have seen very little of Hayes, and I think he'd be absolutely perfect for SmackDown. Get him in the world-ish title picture down the line, maybe. And I feel like he's a just great fit. Next up, this is kind of an interesting one. I'm on the fence about it. Dijak. Now, he's kind of done all he's done in NXT. I think it's time for a real call-up. Not with whatever group he was in. I forget the name. Retribution, if you remember them. And then have a nice little decent run on the main roster. And our final call-up to SmackDown, I have Roxanne Perez. Now, with all this star power going to Raw, I feel like SmackDown could use a little replacement. So I think Roxanne Perez is a nice little fit. So that's my picks going to SmackDown. Now I'm gonna do something interesting and try my best to predict who's going from Raw and SmackDown /other to NXT. And there's going to be some interesting ones here. Some obvious ones. But, I don't know. I think this could be interesting. So, first team group I see going down. I see the Final Testament. Now, I do enjoy how this group works. But they haven't really won on the main roster. So, maybe get them sent down for a little bit. Have them refresh, maybe have them re-debut together somewhere down the line. Oh, and if you don't know who the Final Testament is, it's Karrion Kross, Akam and Razor of AOP, Scarlett Bordeaux, and their manager, Paul Ellering. So, not to say they're bad or anything, I think they could use a little time in NXT. Same thing goes for this next pick, Ivar. And Ivar, low-key, has been killing it on Raw lately. He hasn't really won any, real big matches. And as much as I would like to see him maybe dethrone Sami Zayn, I think maybe NXT is a little bit better of a fit for him. And maybe he shows his stuff. My next pick, Dexter Lumis, who has pretty much just fallen off the face of the planet. He debuted, he had a kind of interesting story with The Miz and Johnny Gargano. But then he just kind of disappeared. So if you're not going to do anything with him on the main roster, send him back down to NXT. Maybe team him up with Joe Gacy. I think that would be a perfect fit for for Dexter Lumis. This one, it might be getting me in a little bit of trouble, and it's Omos. Now, the only reason I have Omos going to NXT, he's only shown up for the Royal Rumble. That's it. He hasn't been a regular on TV. And he hasn't had a singles match in forever. Maybe even a year. So, I say, let's send him down to NXT. Maybe have him be someone's, heater, someone's muscle. Or maybe have him be the bodyguard to the GM. Something where he's maybe not the main character of the show, but he can show some character on the show. Because, honestly, he can be a little bland. Next up, this is just my opinion. While they have formed this team, they haven't really done much with them. That's Ashante the Adonis and Cedric Alexander. I think this would be a nice little tag team to have in the back pocket of on NXT. And then when you need some filler, you can call them up for a little bit. I think they would be a nice couple of regulars for NXT. And this last one, I don't believe she should go to NXT. I think she's been doing decently, at least. But again, she's just not on TV. It's Shotzi. I think Shotzi could benefit for a return to NXT. Maybe get some more... Get some more higher profile matches under her belt, while those like Tiffany Stratton, etc. are on the main roster. Honestly, this is all just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. And, maybe we see AJ Styles go to Raw. Or, Omos actually getting picked for a brand on SmackDown or something. Either way, like I said, these are just my predictions. I hope you guys enjoyed them. Like I said, coming up on Friday, the reviews come back. And then next week, we have Backlash on Saturday, which is going down at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Thank you, France. So I will be giving my predictions and my review for that on the next week. So hopefully you guys stay tuned for all that. Plenty more content coming. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.